Hey guys, welcome back to Brake System Brothers. Yes, it is a little bit dark and dim over here, but I wanted to make the grand reveal of my current project. And there's the light. Okay, yes. Put in some lights, very happy with those. And the other game changer here, look at this little guy. Adjustable. So, got myself a little more mobility now. And that was kind of the idea with the horseshoe shape, was just to be able to get around. And this little bar stool was key to the plan, and it is now in place. So, wanted to bring you guys up to speed with the current little workroom here. The actual workspace is getting pretty cluttered, it's getting pretty messy. I'm aware, you will see that in this video. And the other thing is a project that I have got an update for, so let's jump into it. And just bear with me through the video, I am a bit congested, so you'll probably hear that coming through. But anyways, for today I've got Mediterranean Market Street, and it might look like it hit a growth spurt because it did. There's an extra floor in here now. So technically, this is the extra floor. Finally jumping back onto that series that has been in pause for several months. But I wouldn't really consider this at the same level as some of the other projects. For example, the Teal Townhouse. Because most of this was already done. Yes, it is an extra floor, but I didn't do it to the same level as Market Street, where I actually had an entire patio area that went along with it to make it Market Street Deluxe. And it has been a little while since that video, so it might be time for a refresher if you feel like it. But the main thing I wanted to talk about today, up on the top floor, is a little update to the structure, to the way that I did the roof back here. So I will try to find a good comparison picture to put up next to this current roof. But basically, I replaced a few slopes and the old window style that I had in there. I didn't really like the combination of the steep and the shallow slopes where the windows were at. And then the back actually had a balcony, and I felt like that was taking up a lot of the room on the top floor. So for a while now I've wanted to redo the entire upper floor behind the facade, because I am happy with the stepped front. That does take a lot of inspiration from the Market Street set, but then behind that, this is all pretty much completely redone down to the floor and built back up. The style I went with is some groove bricks, and then it worked out pretty nicely to have the offset windows. So groove brick, 2 windows, and then it alternates all the way down. Because the way that it works is it's a 16 by 16 modular, and then you've got a brick for the front facade and a layer of brick for the back wall. And that actually leaves 14 in between. And then if you say it's going to take 2 studs for each row, that gives you 7 rows to work with. It's an odd number, so you are able to alternate, and you go 3 windows, put the one in the middle. Spacing works out great. Pretty happy with the result. And yeah, there's a little bit of an odd man out over here. I wanted to see how it looked with a slightly different combo. I definitely don't have enough of this older 1x2x1. It's a somewhat more uncommon version of this window, and this window itself is also retired. This would of course work with the current version, which is 1x2x2, and they do have that in red. It's just a window frame, but there's something about these older ones with the molding around, and the frames have a little more detail. They've got that little sill on the bottom. I just like these old ones. They do have the glass in them, so it works pretty well. and the red frames match my trim on the rest of the building. So I wanted to use those in some way, even though it's a retired part. I have this on Rebrickable as well. This is a mock. It's one of the 2 mocks, maybe 2 or 3. Actually, I think I might have taken this one off of the paid mock. So it was a premium. Rebrickable calls them premium mocks if you actually sell the instructions for money. Otherwise, it's just a free download. I'd have to go back and check. This one might still be premium, but it's not very much, like a couple bucks, I think. So if it is, I will leave it there, but I am going to update the model and the instructions with this new floor design. I think it's better design. Personally prefer this to the old one. The roof, whoopsie, I dropped something. Still accessible. Just grab this little air conditioning up top, and that'll get you down inside. Of course, just like Market Street, we've got the central 4x4 cutout that gets you down to the stairs. And then this is actually the floor that I just built to expand it. So, same thing on both sides. Got a little bit of a roof sloping down. The way I actually did that is some clips and the 1x2 bar. And then those drop down right onto a, let's see if I've got one sitting out here. It's not this piece with the fencing, but it's the, you know, that half panel in there with just the ridge. And then it's probably actually worth taking this slope off to show you guys how it works out, because it's actually pretty interesting. The door rail piece in there actually nests right into that panel really nicely, so it kind of ties the structure back in at the base. By having that at the bottom and then the top side with the clips, both sides being held in place, that's doing a lot for the structural stability of this particular design, because in between it's just stacks of 1x2s, and those aren't necessarily, you know, super rigid in themselves. And then breaking that up with the windows does even less. So I did want to have those tied in on both sides. There is a very minor drawback to that, and the problem arises if you're going to be putting this right next to another building. Having the door rail on top of that panel, it sticks out just a fuzz onto the side face here. So kind of a no-no when it comes to official modulars. You're probably not going to see anything that protrudes beyond the side of a building like that. In this case, the way that worked out was just too good to pass up for me, so I let it happen. And that is the main reason I went ahead and put on the extra floor now, is because with another floor in here, that is going to get the top floor where that rail sticks out. Hopefully that gets it up plenty far enough to avoid any interference with other modulars. It definitely avoids the townhouse, and that's all the further that's going up. The bookshop, he might be next on the expansion list, and in that case it might be up here pretty close to the door rail, but I think there's enough other modulars out there that are not as tall to where that would still work now that it's up another floor, boosted a little bit. Now, I'm not quite done with this guy. The main thing you might have seen already is the yellow hose here. Yeah, I have another black hose. I don't know where it's at. That has kind of been the problem with having Lego in 2 different spaces again. There's always going to be something that I need for a project that's at the other state. And apparently I didn't bring any of my black hoses. Well, I brought one. The other thing, it might be in the unsorted catastrophe over there, but that's a story for another day. I got to get back into my sorting game. So yeah, I'll find another black hose and that'll be all wrapped up. But the more that I've been looking at this first floor, the more I want to revisit it and change a bunch of things. The first thing that jumped out at me was the awning, this design right here. I think that actually looked better if I had an awning over each side window and then did something else over the door. Also the bars on the windows aren't really doing it for me anymore. I don't necessarily like that. The dark orange color I think is still fine, but the tan highlights, I don't know if I like the tan next to the dark orange. I might try to see if there's a different color. I don't want to do dark red again because that's already in the awning. I could do the light nougat and kind of match the upper floors, but I feel like that goes better with the tan. I don't know, but that's something. Maybe dark brown would look good. It's not quite at the black window frames and the ironwork, but it might look good with that orange. So yeah, might try the dark brown down there. I want to spruce up the sidewalk a little bit, and that would actually help free up some of the 2x2 tiles that I need for future modulars. The plant's kind of plain, but I think they're okay. But yeah, really just revisit some of the front detail on this first floor. Maybe bump it up one more brick, and then probably will be satisfied with that mock for a while when it comes to the Mediterranean Market Street project. So been working on that a little bit, and to tie this back into other events, most of the pieces I took out of the roof were these 2x2x2 black roof slopes. You guys know where these need to go. Those need to go in the Green Grocer project. So yes, I am freeing up some more parts for that. Now that I've got the roof replaced, I've got a whole pile of these guys, and I probably have enough. I need to go through and count them and check it off the parts list. But that was another step in the process of getting Green Grocer stuff rounded up. And hopefully we will see that by the end of the month. But August moving pretty quick, seems like to me. So there's a little update for one of the mocks here. These three I brought back from Iowa last time I was home, and I might try to grab one more, the Tan Townhouse, because that one actually has the space next to it to continue building that little block. But I do have a couple other projects on my plate that I feel like I should probably try to patch up, or yeah, continue on those before I bring something else to the table. So that was good for now. Maybe I can get these guys up above, up there on the top. Might have to bump those lights up just a little bit more and extend that 2x4 in the corner, but yeah, working in the light now. It's kind of nice to not have the dim incandescent bulb. These guys are just LEDs. They actually make these to where they will screw into a regular light socket, and if you happen to have an existing one hooked up, then it's pretty easy to pop these in. I did not have those over here where I wanted more light, so being a former handyman construction dude, I went out and bought some stuff and put it together, and pretty happy with it. Like I said, I might try to bump this up closer to the ceiling, and that'd get a little more clearance if I want to put a display up above on top of the Acro Mills. But it's doing the job for now. Getting plenty of light back here in the corners. Might have to adjust it for when I'm actually filming. It looks like there might be some shadows from this angle, but I think I can definitely work with this a little easier. And of course we got a little bar stool down here now, so that's going to be nice to have a scoot around. Probably the next step to actually use it is to get some stuff set up on the ground down here, so that as I go around I can reach up to the bins, over to the table, and then down, and maybe fill that in with the stair lights, because those are just kind of stacked up, not being very useful. Alright, I think you guys are up to speed. Been slacking on the videos a little bit. Every day has not been Lego day, has been one of the main reasons, but I did get some stuff done with this project and with the setup, so hopefully that'll bring you up to date a little bit and get you off my case. Thanks for watching, guys. Not Market Street, Green Grocer still on the docket, little by little working towards that. I've got a lot of sorting to do, I've got a lot of cleanup to do, and I will get to it. It's just not going to be at the same pace that I have done before, it seems like. Or if it is, it's going to happen all at once in like a week, and you will get an update, but it isn't as continuous as it has been for a couple years. That's alright. I know you guys are okay with that. So thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Brick System Brothers.